So on Christmas Eve, Islamic jihadists attacked a village in Jos, Nigeria. Al Jazeera, the news network of Islamic terrorists, claimed that the attack had something to do with climate change. Is that what we are calling this verse in the Quran, calling on Muslims to fight the disbelievers wherever they find them? I mean, there goes another remarkable scientific miracle of the Quran.
You see, this dude is not just a liar. He has no shame whatsoever. I will, Allah's willing, be using his own reference to debunk the lies. But before then, it is quite unfortunate that when Mr. Lie lies, YouTube tend to spread these lies, accumulating thousands of views. And when we debunk it, it gets little to no views. But this Allah's willing won't stop us from trying to spread the truth. And again, just so you may understand how these apologists are onto a mission to paint Islam as a violent religion whose followers derive joy in seeing peaceful Christians suffer for no just reason. Listen to another version of the same story. And what's funny is that this dude is so in a haste to publish this propaganda video, these lies, that he got the day it actually happened wrong.
The day after Christmas, 160 Christians were slaughtered by Islamic jihadis in Nigeria. 160 of them. Just a total killing spree. A gleeful killing spree by these jihadis against poor Christians who were just trying to celebrate one of the holiest times of the year. And no one's talking about it.
Yes, no one is talking about this because it wasn't a targeted attack by Muslim jihadists, as you call it. By the way, it happened on Christmas Eve and not a day after Christmas. Again, these attacks are quite unfortunate, and I personally condemned it in the strongest of terms possible. Muslims are also victims of these same attacks, not just the Christians. This is why in the reference he gave, Mr. Lai gave, there is no mention of any Muslim jihadist, and there's no mention of any Christian being the victim. Now let's go back in time. We will notice Mr. Lai referenced the Guardian newspaper, where it is boldly written at least 160 dead and 300 wounded after attacks by armed gangs and not Muslim jihadists. It's now obvious that these attacks is not religiously motivated, but an attack by some individuals not religiously inclined. In fact, Monday Kassa, head of the local government in Bokos, Plateau State, where the attacks actually happened, said these are armed groups locally called bandits. He didn't say Muslim jihadist. And we all know, except for Mr. Lai, that bandits are robbers or outlaws belonging to a gang operating in an isolated, lawless area. Again, how does this definition fit a Muslim jihadist? Even the governor of the state, who is a Christian, never ascribed these attacks to the Muslims. But Mr. Lai, somehow living thousands of miles away, did. And one of the apologists who complained, why are people not talking about it, also blamed the Muslims for the attacks. You see, I understand that Mr. Lai is trying really hard to sell Christianity by presenting the Muslims as the villain. Of course, no thanks to their faith, which inspires them to kill disbelievers. I mean, this is what you would think if you know nothing about Islam. And then he presents Christians as a peaceful, loving people thanks to their faith that teaches them to be peacemakers. After all, if you're slapped on the right cheek, you turn the left. But Mr. Lai, I think you can still do better without lying about Islam and the Muslims. But I also think that you won't let Islam be. And this is because you know Islam is the people's choice. And the only way to stop as many reverts to Islam as possible is to lie and making Islam look disgusting. So at the end of the day, Christianity can be the alternative choice of the people, while gently following the footstep of Paul. But if through my lies God's truth abounds to his glory, why am I still being condemned as a sinner? We will continue, Allah's willing, to debunk you and others until you stop these obvious lies or Allah puts you to shame. I will end this with a verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. They, the disbelievers, want to extinguish the light of Allah with their mouth. Wallahu mutimmu nurihi, and Allah will certainly complete his light. Walau kariha al-kafirun, even if the disbelieving people like Mr. Lai detest it. With this I say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.